Hello, this is Rafael Sanchez Cruz. We are out here still in Montgomery Village at the Goldstein Plaza for those that are tuning in on YouTube. As you can see, the basket truck is now up. This is the most movement we've seen in the last couple hours. We've been seeing crews assessing the tower on multiple sides. The fire chief, in the latest update that he provided, said that first both PEPCO crews and fire and EMS crews had to go up and physically touch the tower to determine that there was no electrical current, because if there was, that could pose a threat not only for the crews but also for the occupants of that plane. But now we're seeing that there are crews that have been using their flashlights throughout the night assessing the situation. Too early to determine if this is a part of what is considered the rescue effort. I want to walk you through the steps that are required in order to get those two occupants outside of that aircraft. First, they have to determine that there is no electrical current in the tower. After that, they have to secure the aircraft to the tower, and then they are able to get those two people out. I don't know if you can see those flashlights that are moving, and you can finally see some people up in the sky closer to that airplane craft that is about 100 feet up in the air in that PEPCO tower that crashed at around 5:30 p.m. here in Montgomery Village. Again, it's an aircraft that was traveling from White Plains, New York, heading to Gaithersburg, and 5:30 crashed into this tower. So again, this is the most movement that we've seen in the last a couple hours. A lot of people asking us when these people were going to be released from this aircraft, and we're finally seeing those initial steps of assessing that it is all safe and creating an action plan to get those people out. And you might be wondering, what are some of the difficulties that for rescue teams as they try to get these two people out? Well, one, the electricity in the power, but also the amount of wiring that is around this tower. At around 10 o'clock, they told us that there are cell receivers on top of these towers that were turned off because they require a lot of electricity. Some residents already reporting that they are experiencing some kinds of issues in terms of their cell phone coverage in the area. And right now, the public information officer is providing us an additional update. They're in 3 phases. We saw the first phase as they got the power off. Right now he's saying that they're in the second phase. They're securing the plane at this moment. They have been communicating with the patients the entire time. A medic has made contact with them visually. He's seen the 2 people inside the plane, and right now the airplane is being secured. As soon as that happens, so what we're hearing right now is that, okay, we're getting an update that in about an hour, we're expected to see those 2 occupants inside that aircraft come down, according to the public information officer here in Montgomery County for the fire department. He is telling us that the crew that is right now assessing the tower and securing the aircraft to the tower will come down one more time, get additional equipment, and go up again. So he's giving us an estimated time of 1 hour. So right now it is 12:23. We're talking about a 1:30 potential time for those people to be on the ground. The fire chief told us they will be transported to a local hospital for an assessment. And after that, that aircraft will remain secured to the tower for what could be days as federal authorities continue their investigation to determine what led to this crash in Montgomery Village that, like I said previously, has caused extensive damage to that tower. It's shifted it completely. So they definitely will have to be careful with securing this aircraft. And you're seeing live images right now from Montgomery Village. We are located at the Goldstein Plaza. Montgomery County Police still asking residents to stay away from the area as crews continue assessing and securing that aircraft in an attempt to get those two people inside the aircraft out safe and sound. And again, they will be transported to a local hospital for medical attention. That's the latest update that we have. We will continue with our live coverage and our live streaming service here on WUSA 9.
going back up after the mail now. Oh, they ain't getting it?
comes. Yep, there he comes right there.
Pepco workers. Thanks, guys. Thanks. Good looking, y'all. Y'all did a good job up there. Yeah.
See y'all on him. Hope y'all are. No, we lost cell power. Absolutely. Cell? Yeah. We lost cell, we lost power.
And for those who are watching right now, we have live pictures here in Montgomery Village, and you're probably wondering what is going on, what's the movement that we've been seeing in the last couple minutes. Well, we want to confirm that both Jan Williams as well as Patrick Merkle of Washington, D.C., that is the pilot, both of them are now on the ground. Jan was the first person that you saw get into that ambulance. She was the first person down on the ground. And Patrick Merkle, the second. He is still inside of that ambulance, and they are both being taken to be medically assessed at an area hospital. And we're just expecting an update from the Montgomery County Fire Chief to provide us more details regarding this rescue. The public information officer had given a 1:30 estimated time as to when they would be back on the ground, and we're seeing that it's 12:45, so they were able to get them down quicker than was told to us by the public information officer. A representative of Pepco that was able to get close to the situation told me that Mr. Merkle was talking to the rescue team and was talking to the crew as he was being placed inside of the ambulance. And Miss Williams seemed also to be just covered in a blanket, stable, and also communicating with the rescue crews here in Montgomery Village. Again, we're expecting to get that update from the fire chief in just a couple minutes. The families and loved ones of those two people were also on the scene. They did not want to comment. They were escorted off by the Montgomery County Police, but people here definitely received these two occupants with cheers, people cheering as they were being placed inside the ambulance, and also telling their family that they were praying for them as these two people recover after what was 7 hours. And yeah, 7 hours inside of that aircraft, 100 feet in the air, dangling from an electrical tower in Montgomery Village. I just wanted to provide you an update because I know everything was abrupt and changing constantly. We went from getting the update about the aircraft being secured to the tower, and then we were getting images of these two occupants now on the ground and in ambulances. And again, where we're seeing that red ambulance that you might be able to see is where Mr. Merkle was placed and will be transported to an area hospital. I've been reading everyone's messages on social media and seeing the questions that you all have been having, and hopefully we get those answered in the upcoming update that will be provided by the fire chief. I think it's safe to say that everyone is obviously happy that those people are on the ground, those two occupants are on the ground and safe, but also just we have people that have been here for hours cheering the crews on and just wanting to know what is going to happen. And we don't blame them. We're talking about people that a lot of them have lost electricity in their homes due to this crash and have been on the scene just waiting for this positive ending, which we definitely saw. And right now you can see the amount of crews that are still on the scene and will remain on the scene. We're talking about Pepco, Montgomery County Fire and EMS, Montgomery County Police, as well as federal agencies. Also Pepco contractors that have been cooperating throughout this rescue effort here in Montgomery Village. And again, we're expecting these crews to remain in the upcoming hours because this investigation is far from over. The federal government will then take on leading this effort to determine what led to the crash, and then also assessing the damage that was caused to the tower. As we had mentioned previously in our update just a while ago, that tower is actually shifted, physically shifted, which is now there's question whether they can continue on with this. All right, well, we will be providing another update once we get the fire chief speaking to us in just a couple minutes. That was the last that we received from the public information officer.
whole time.
I'm not gonna ask a couple questions now to go down. All right, let's do it real quick. I'm David. Leo? Nice to meet you. I'm Steve Clancy. Got your name down. Let's start rolling. Shooting up 234 5679. Jump in 234 to Leo and Leo. What's your last name?
Montgomery County right over here.
Your reaction now that this is done, over, and it seems like everybody's okay for the start.
Pretty happy. Get some out of that.
Let's actually, let's go to the crowd really quickly. Let's get somebody from there. Your headphones are...
Oh.
Here, can I carry this?
No.
Hold on, Pete's coming.
So Chief Goldstein will be joining you again. With some good news. Both patients have been extricated and on the way, hopefully at the hospital.
Was there
Again, Montgomery County Fire Rescue Chief Scott Goldstein will be joining us momentarily.
Nope, that's not it. Oh, yes, that is it.
Sure, I'm a genius, I'm telling
You are.
Ready, Chief?
This guy's got my back.
He's got a back. No.
Oh, okay.
Okay, again, Montgomery County Fire and Rescue Chief Scott Goldstein.
All right, folks. Just trying to check myself. So it's just before 1 o'clock. Remember, we got here about 5:30 when the original 911 call occurred for the aircraft into the power lines. So it was 11:30 hours. 11:30 is when the grounding was complete. That's when the tower company, their name is AUI. The acronym, the abbreviation is AUI, when they completed the grounding operations. It was right at midnight when the fire crew, along with AUI's personnel, were at the plane beginning the tieback operation. That is where they secure the aircraft to the tower itself. That was right at midnight. That was completed at 12:15 hours. At 12:25, the first patient was coming out of the aircraft and coming down to the ground. The second patient was out and coming down at 12:36. I'm going to just roll those times again. The plane was tied back and completed right at midnight. Excuse me, the tieback was started right at midnight. The plane was secured at 12:16. The first patient was coming down at 12:25. The second patient was coming down at 12:36. Both patients have been transported from the scene to local area trauma centers with serious injuries. Crews were going to be having a planning meeting in a few minutes in which we'd figure out and develop the next several hours of operations. So that will evaluate and make a determination as to what resources remain here, but it is likely that Goshen Road will be closed for quite some time as the plane needs to be secured, removed, and the power lines need to be restrung and reconnected. On the other parts of incidents outside of this site, most of the power in the county has been restored, rerouted by PEPCO, in facilities, and our 2 hospitals that were earlier on limited capacity because of the power have been restored back to full capacity. So I will pause there and take your quick questions.
You said both patients serious injuries. You said
Serious injuries to a local trauma center, correct.
Can you say the nature of their injuries is mostly exposure or what?
There is a hypothermia issue as well, but there's also orthopedic and trauma injuries from the crash.
Did you all expect that to go? The way you were describing it earlier made it seem like this was maybe a longer process. Was there some planning done on the ground, obviously, that sort of expedited the fact that you all got the static electricity on at 11:30, had the plane tied down 45 minutes after that, and had them down 20 minutes after that? I mean, did that go well? I guess is the best way to ask.
It went very well. There was definitely a lot of planning, a lot of plan A, plan B, plan C. When we got the AUI crew here, they said it would take an hour for them to do the bonding and grounding, and it was pretty much right on, that mark when that was implemented, then completed. What I do believe is faster than we expected was the ability to remove them from the aircraft themselves. Both people assisted us in their movement from the aircraft to the bucket of those tower units. So that made it for a much faster removal or extrication, as we would describe. But it was a part of plan, is having an A, plan B, and then C.
And how do you feel about your team obviously executing this?
Everybody working together in unison is what makes this successful. Both the 2 victims in the aircraft, as well as the team that was from the PEPCO, as well as AUI, and all of the fire rescue folks here. So it goes through training, you go through the capabilities of having skills, and the means to be able to effect this rescue and get these folks off to an area hospital is what we come to work every day to do.
You mentioned the road being closed. Just for people, residents in the area, is it closed because of potential risk for other?
It's closed because of the access of the machinery to support the operations, not because of the risk of the tower themselves.
Can you talk about just the sorry.
No, go ahead.
Can you just talk about the coordination between all of these entities? Obviously, you had rescue crews from Montgomery County, DC, and PEPCO and their crews. How tough is it to do this kind of a thing? And obviously, I assume you guys train for accidents like this.
And exactly it. It's training and coordination. This region is relying upon each other in the emergency services arena to work together. We do that on a daily basis, so the tech rescue folks from both jurisdictions do train together. The opportunity of having a plan B and C, as I said a second ago, is why we called for additional resources. Because when you get to the point of needing other capacity, you don't want that to be an hour or 2 away. So the capability there is where we rely upon the resources. From coordination, absolutely. From the time we started this at 5:30 or 6 o'clock, coordination between PEPCO, AUI, as well as all the other partners is what was contributing to our action plan. We make an incident action plan to address the issues, and every time that's developed, it's done with all the stakeholders. So each time and point, we got and learned a little bit more, a little additional parts, which is how we knew why we had to take the next steps that we did. Slow, methodical, and risk-based.
And you mentioned in an earlier press conference, likely several days before getting the plane down. Has anything changed? Is that still what you're looking at, kind of looking forward?
There's a meeting in a few minutes where we'll talk about the next hour or 2 of what we're going to do. It'll be determined during that, still to be up to date.
Chief, did you ever lose contact with the people in the plane? I don't know if you mentioned it earlier. How were you in contact with them?
Cell phone contact with them. They stayed on the line with the 911 center dispatcher for a long period of time. We started relaying messages through that dispatcher, and then we transitioned to us calling the 2 occupants in the plane directly. We did moderate that contact to conserve cell phone battery. So we started that into basically a 30-minute interval call and touch base so that we could save that cell phone battery.
Chief, question to ask you. Did it ever become ever hard for the battery percentage to stay while that was during medication, or no?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that question.
Did it ever become hard whenever it was for like the battery percentage, like to save battery? Did that ever become a trouble or no?
It was a concern, and it was moderated and managed. Luckily, with a couple different devices and using those devices, conservatively, we were able to continue that.
Chief, I know you guys aren't the.
Chief, can you describe the victim's state of mind? What were they saying? Kind of their perception of what was happening?
I cannot.
I know you guys aren't the investigative agency. Can you give any insights about who's investigating? Is the FAA?
FAA is on site.
Okay.
As I said, Maryland State Police in the state is investigative authority for aircraft incidences. They're on site. Beyond that, that's part of our next briefing. So 2 more questions, folks, and I.
Is there remaining fuel in the plane?
There will be some remaining hazards in the plane. That was shut off by the pilot. Electricity, fuel, and the other shutdown procedures were completed by the personnel in the plane, but there still will probably be some left there, as well as pooled in other parts of the aircraft. So that's an issue that we will be addressing. Last question. Anybody? All right.
Do you know what happened? I know they're investigating. But
Do not.
Okay.
I'll turn it over to Pete.
When will the next briefing be?
I'll turn that over to Pete.
Okay.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
There will be no more briefings from us, at least in the short term. So certainly be out here tomorrow. We are going to have overheard. I know there's a planning meeting going on now, but I did overhear that we plan to have some fire rescue hazmat people here assisting PEPCO and the other contractors in securing and removing the plane. As the chief said, they have to reconnect some power lines, which will probably take a few days, I would imagine. There's some damage there to the tower that would take a couple of days, if not a couple of weeks. And of course, we have to get the plane down. So PEPCO and the contractor has requested our presence here because of the hazmat potential. And so again, their planning session will go on now, but that's kind of the way it will be going forward. The roads will probably be closed. As you know, the schools are closed for today as a precautionary measure because there were so many were without power. I understand PEPCO's done great work getting the power back on throughout the county. Maybe couple, 10 or 20,000 people still without power, but that should be resolved in a couple of hours, I would imagine. So, no planned briefings further than this for now, but we'll be back at it. I'll probably be out here tomorrow at some point, but I'm sure I won't see any of you guys.
Well, out of curiosity, are you going to have anyone that was directly involved with the rescue? Are you going to make them available for interviews? Do you have any video maybe of the actual rescue, or is that going to go through red tape and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, as the chief suggested, Maryland State Police are the investigative agency, FAA, NTSB, so on and so forth. We did check with the family. They weren't in a position really to talk to any of us right now. The county did send out the crisis team to talk with them, so the family has that resource available, but they're on the way to the hospital, probably arriving there now. But both had traumatic injury and didn't appear to be life-threatening, but it was traumatic. And as the chief suggested, and as you probably figured out, there's some hypothermia issues, and they've been out there very anxious and very happy to be down. They were communicating with us the entire time, as well as on their way to the ambulance. So.
Does serious injuries, does that mean not life-threatening injuries, or can you say they're non-life-threatening injuries? What do you say about that?
Well, just an initial assessment that our medics will make. And just by the nature of what occurred, it's going to be a trauma. We would call it a priority 1 trauma, which is most serious, but the injuries do not appear to be life-threatening, but there could be some complications that aren't obvious, but I wouldn't suggest. We've been communicating with them the whole time.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Pete.
I just wanted to get the conditions of the
go grab.
She was not like moving when they brought her down. They brought her a little bit.
Well, good job, guys. You kept us informed throughout.
Would you guys want to speak to us about your reactions? Staying
No, you guys shoot, because you guys were here the whole time.
You've been here since 7? Come on, that's good.
What should I say?
But just tell me. I mean, obviously, we heard you cheering when you were seeing the people go in the car. What did you think when you saw that they were alive after so long?
Well, my only hope was to see them come out alive because, it's been kind of like a roller coaster just seeing that airplane up there since 5:30 and just thinking about how it feels to be up there for hours, especially at that age. So I was very hopeful, and we all kept praying for them to come out alive. So it was a great moment to see them come out alive.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that being up there for so long, hearing the cheering and stuff, I'm sure it's going to give them a little bit of,
Yeah, so we were all here just so we can cheer them up so they can, not give up and just pray to be alive. So it's my first time having to witness something like this that close because I live around the corner.
Yeah, and when you're seeing that, what's running through your head when you're seeing, an airplane dangling like that?
Yeah, I kept praying. I've been praying for hours just because I wanted to see them come out alive. That was my only hope. And I was kind of hopeful seeing everybody and, it was a great moment. So I'm very happy that they came out alive. So, and everybody did a great job.
How long have you been here, and why'd you stay so long to watch us through?
I've been here since, I think I came around 6:45, 7. I went home and just ate dinner and came back out. I just wanted to witness this moment because I wanted to see those people come out alive. So that's the only reason why I stayed out, because I was hopeful.
Can we get your name?
Aisha.
Aisha? What's your last name, Aisha?
Ba.
Can you spell that out for me?
B-A-H.
And Aisha, can you spell Aisha out too?
A-I-C-H-A.
Aisha, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's get this up there. Bud, you were out here too.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, let's go.
So what kept you going through this whole time? You're just keeping an eye. What kept you saying, I'm gonna be here this entire time?
Yeah, so what kept me out here was I've been in the community for I'm 21 now, so I've been there for about 15 years. So really what kept me out here was just everybody was embracing as a community. And then when I heard everybody cheer, it just shows what Montgomery County is really all about. We're just all together. That's why I loved it. That's what kind of brought me out here. Somebody texted me, and that's what brought me out here, brought me to the spot, and just to see how everybody was talking together like we're family here. I love it.
Yeah, you see those two people that have been there for 7 hours come out. What's running through your head?
I'm just hoping the best for them. Honestly, it's a scary situation. It's cold out here with the fall coming down. It's a scary time for a lot of them. So when they, obviously we have the best help, fire rescues here, and I just hope the best for them. So really, I was afraid for them though.
Yeah. Were you impressed that they were able to do it? I mean, at some point they were an hour away, and then they got him down so quickly. Were you impressed with the effort that, how quickly they were able to get them on the ground?
I think that the team did an amazing job, and the fact that they worked together to make sure that they could get it done and to make sure that these people were going to leave but safely, no electrocutions or anything like that. So the fact that they did that, in such a long time but in a good executed manner was such a great way. So yeah, most definite, sir.
And what's your first and last name?
I'm Andrew. My last name is Gottlieb. Thank you again. I've always, yes.
Can you say your last name back?
Gottlieb, Gottlieb. I've been in the community. I've been from Montgomery County for a little bit of time, so any questions, I love it. So thank you. Yeah, no worries.
Appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you, folks.
With the light. Get the light.
I need to get a memory card out of the car real quick.
We're done, so.
You think so?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, we're done.
Perfect. I had 1 minute left of space.
We're good.
What digital show do they want another hit?
The last 15 minutes from the.
That's it? Oh my gosh.
Well, it's a wrap for us. We'll just probably hang out in the car. Is Susan on car?